I am the sacrifice. I am the ancestral oblation. I am the medicinal herb. I am the sacred hymn. I am also the melted butter. I am the fire, and I am the offering. One meaning of this 16th mantra of the 9th chapter of the Gita is very special. Those who know the Sanskrit language may have understood while saying this verse out loud in Sanskrit. In this one verse, God has said the word aham, I, 8 times. We saw in the last verse that yajna, sacrifice, means the destruction and sacrifice of the ego. Now God himself is saying the word aham, I, 8 times. So much aham, I. In reality, only one whose ego has gone away can naturally say aham, I, many times over. Nobody else can say it. If a person is egotistic, then he will not be able to say I naturally. A thinker has said that if you go to a salesman, then the salesman would always say, this is worth buying for us. Is the salesman really going to buy this product? What the salesman is trying to say is that we should buy the product. This is because the ego of the salesman is there, but he is not trying to show his ego. This is just an illusion upon his ego. A lot of people have this habit. In English management language, this is called the you attitude. When you want to sell your things, then you should have this you attitude, where you say, you do this and you do that. You should have the attitude that you are doing everything for them. We always see advertisements on the billboards when companies say, where you come first. They create a very big impression of service, and they always have the you underlined, so that it says where you come first. Whenever I go to America, I see advertisements for the US Airways, internal domestic airlines. They've done a very nice gimmick in their advertisements where the U in US Airways is painted in a different colour with a different emblem, so that it says where you come first. Is this you for us? What I mean to say is that when they keep saying you, then this does not mean that their ego has gone. On many occasions, a person keeps saying you to cover and hide their ego. A person should be able to say I naturally. A person whose ego has been destroyed, a person whose ego has gone away, or a person who is awake about his ego, only such a person can naturally and frequently repeat the word aham, I. If you sit down quietly to think about it, then the person who is in reality egotistic cannot say aham so quickly. This is because such a person is trying to hide his ego. Only a person whose ego has gone away can say aham repeatedly. Not only that, but if we look at it from a second meaning, then God is saying that you climb down from the tree of your ego, and then God will climb down a tree of his ego. Then decide who wins and then surrenders. Whose ego is more powerful? If we climb down by saying aham, and God also climbs down his tree, then it is very natural that only God will win. Therefore, in only one verse here, by saying the word aham 8 times, God is trying to prove that your ego is so fragile and your ego is so impure. That is why you should always remain engrossed in God. If you want to count them, this verse has 32 letters. Sri Krishna has said the word aham 8 times in this verse, and the word aham, I, comprises of 2 Sanskrit letters, a and hum. The word aham comprises 50% of this verse, and out of the 32 letters in this verse, 16 letters are involved in the word aham. And in the remaining 16 letters, Sri Krishna has spoken about something different. God has a divine ego. Sri Krishna says that he is the kritu, ritual action. Kritu is a word worth understanding because it is not a word used in everyday language. The word kritu is used over and over again in our Vedas and our Upanishads. The word kritu has many different shadows and many different meanings. The first meaning is that which we perform as an action is kritu. This is the meaning of kritu from the views of karmas. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya Ji goes a little further and says that Shrota Karma, everyday worldly actions, are Kritu. There are two types of karmas. The first are Shrota, everyday worldly actions, and the second are Smart Karma. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya Ji says that Shrota Karma, everyday worldly actions, are Kritu. Secondly, in this Chandogya Upanishad, the meaning of the word Kritu is stated as Sankalp, resolve. Therefore, Sri Krishna says that he is the Kritu, resolve. But there are also two types of Sankalp. One Sankalp is such that it always remains stuck as a resolve. This is wishful thinking. A person has good thoughts that he wishes to do this and that. This is Sankalp. The second Sankalp is that the resolve moves forward towards action. Upon having the Sankalp, the person begins performing actions. This type of Sankalp is called Kritu. That which gets stuck as a resolve only cannot be called Kritu. If after reading this chapter of the Gita you feel as if you are getting a lot of bliss, you wish to continue reading at 5 a.m. tomorrow, and therefore you make the resolve that if you make efforts to continue reading at 5 a.m. tomorrow, then this resolve can be called Kritu. And Sri Krishna says that he is the Kritu. He is not something that remains as a wish and then bursts away. God says, Kritu, aham, I am the ritual action. A person who has a resolve and goes in the direction of action, and therefore his resolve is matched by the action, is Kritu. In the Nirukt, the word Kritu was defined and two meanings were given. Kritu is the life, breath, and also the intellect. Krituhu asuhu pragnacha. When we breathe in, then when we get the power to perform karmas, and when we get the intellect, then it gives us the power to attain gnan, knowledge. If we look at it metaphysically, then there are two ways by which one can attain the soul, or two ways by which one can obtain the power of the soul. The first is through gnan, and the second is through karmas. If the soul is attained through gnan, then this power of the intellect and the gnan indriyo, knowledge senses, are Kritu. We hear these words, gnan indriyo, knowledge senses, and karma indriyo, senses of the action, over and over again. There are these two ways of attaining the soul. The first is gnan, and the second is karmas. The soul is attained through gnan, knowledge, by using the knowledge senses, and the soul is attained through karmas by using the senses of action. Therefore, knowledge needs their intellect, and actions need their life breath. Both their intellect and their life breath are Kritu. Both the senses of knowledge and the senses of action are needed in unison to make one's life and Kritu work. Both are incomplete without the other. Our scriptures say that a person without knowledge is like one who has eyes to see but no legs, and a person without action is like a blind person with legs. When you combine the way of knowledge with the way of action by making the person without legs sit on the shoulders of the blind person, then you can attain the soul because they will reach the destination together. In the same way, the senses of knowledge have vision and know what to do, but they do not have the power to perform actions. And the senses of action have the power to perform actions, but do not know which actions to perform. The senses of action are blind, and the senses of knowledge are without legs. When the senses of action and the senses of knowledge combine, then you get Kritu. The senses of knowledge watch and the senses of action perform works. Kritu means worldly actions. Sri Krishna also says in this verse that Yajna aham, I am the sacrifice. Yajna means Vedic actions. We already discussed Yajna before, and therefore I will not repeat it again. Sri Krishna then says in this verse, Svadha aham, I am the ancestral oblation. Svadha means worshipping our ancestors, giving away something, such as clothes, donations, wealth, etc., because of the cause of our ancestors. You see that whenever a priest is performing a yajna ceremony for the gods, then while performing the yajna, the priest says swaha. For example, Om Govindraya swaha, Om Somaya swaha, Om Chandramase swaha. But when the ancestors are being worshipped during a yajna ceremony, then you cannot say swaha. For example, they would say idam jalam tasmai swadha. Whenever something is being given to the ancestors, then the word swadha is used. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it is said that both Swaha and Swadha were daughters of Daksha and Rasuti. Daksha and Rasuti had 16 daughters, but out of these 16 daughters, 2 were Swaha and Swadha. Rasuti was the daughter of Manu and Shatrupa, and she got married to Daksha, and they have 16 daughters. 13 of these daughters got married to Dharma. The 14th daughter, Swadha, was married to the ancestors. The 15th daughter, Swaha, was married to the gods. And the 16th daughter, Sati, was married to Shivji. Therefore, Swadha means all ancestral oblations, and God says that he is Swadha. Many people ask me the question about whether they should offer oblations to the ancestors, and I say that they certainly must do. The meaning of an oblation, or shrabdha, is shrabdhaya yatra kriyate tat shrabdham. That which is done with faith is an oblation. Any donations you give because of your ancestors, or any good activities you do for society because of your ancestors, are necessary, as are offerings of rice and water to the ancestors. These must certainly be done. There is a beautiful fruit from this. Great saints go further and say that the power of ancestral oblation reach the ancestors, and the ancestors take the power of swadha. People ask me the question that if their ancestors have attained liberation, then should they still make these oblations? If you have a donation to a priest in the name of your ancestors, or during the funeral ceremony of your ancestors, then this certainly reaches your ancestors. I will give you a simple example. If you put an envelope in the post box, then how did it reach the other side? Or going further than this, if you put money in a bank in Mumbai, and so your child is studying in New York, he gets the dollars, then how the currency debt exchanged so that your child could get the money? There is a system. People know that there is a system. And if they put their money into an account, then the child will instantly receive the money. In the same way, there is this system. There is also a universal system, where in whatever form your ancestors are, whatever you offer here in the name of your ancestors, it will reach them wherever they are. If you give a donation of food to the poor over here, then your ancestors will get the satisfaction wherever they are. If you make an offering of water, then your ancestors will get satisfaction wherever they are. Whatever form your ancestors are in, whatever body your ancestors have, and however your ancestors are, they will get this satisfaction from the offerings you make in their names. They definitely get this. I often give a very simple example. There are many times where we get the things we want. If we see something that is nice and that we like, then it leaves our minds. But after a month or 6 months or so, out of the blue, a person comes and tells you that he has bought this gift for you. If you think about it, how did they know to buy this for you? Researchers say that this is because an ancestral offering has been made somewhere by our loved ones in one of our previous lives, and therefore you are receiving the things in this form. It is not as if they offer a cream shirt and you get the exact cream shirt, but the type of thing that you offer to your ancestors reaches them when they are covered with a new body, no matter what form they are in. This is the power of Swadha. That is why whenever an offering is made to the ancestors, it is said, Idham tasmai Swadha. Many people say that they do not believe in this and this is their choice. The second question they ask is whether they should make these ancestral oblations if their ancestors have attained liberation. Of course, if an offering is made to the ancestors and an ancestors gets another body, they will receive the offering. But what if the ancestors attain liberation? Great saints say it very nicely that in the same way that you send something in the post and if the recipient is not there, it gets redirected and it comes back to you. In the same way, if you have offered any oblation to the ancestors, and yes, ancestors have attained liberation, then that donation comes back to you and you get it back. Nothing in this world goes to waste. It comes back to us in one form or another. It does not go to waste. And what I'm saying is from the scriptures. It comes back to us. Therefore, there is a benefit in both ways. If your ancestors have not attained liberation, then they receive the oblations. And if your ancestors have attained liberation, then the oblations come back to you. This is the power of Swadha. Many people ask why they should do all of this for the ancestors. I ask them why they should not do this. They say that their parents have not let them anything. I tell them, is it not enough that they have left you? They have left you, you are 6 feet tall, so how can you not make an offering to them? You should definitely make these ancestral offerings. Sri Krishna says here that Aham Swadha, I am the ancestral oblation. Please do not even by mistake think that ancestors means only those who have passed away. Your ancestors who are alive today also receive Swadha. You should therefore serve them, give them satisfaction, and make them happy, because this is also Swadha. Sri Krishna then says in this verse, Avshadhi Aham, I am the medicinal herb. What is Avashadam? When we look at it from its simple meaning, or if you check it in the Sanskrit dictionary, then it means medicinal herbs. Avashadhaya Shantihi. In the Paraskar Gayu Sutra, Avashadhi is defined as that which pulls away one's faults and gives one's qualities. Think about how beautiful the Sanskrit language is. What does any medicine do? If you get ill and take any medicine, then the faults get taken away, and the qualities of powers come back to you. A medicine is not something that gets rid of the illness and then stops at that. Medicine should also give one strength and qualities. Avshadhi is defined as that which pulls away one's faults and gives one qualities. Sri Krishna says in this verse, Avshadhi Aham, I am the medicinal herb. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya Ji gives a very general meaning of Avshadhi in his commentary, and therefore the meaning given in the Gaya Sutra is better. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya Ji has given the general meaning of Avshadhi as the food and the plants that people sitting down together have to eat. Srimad Adi Shankaracharya Ji goes further to differentiate Swadha and Avshadhi in his commentary by saying that Swadha is food that is healthy for creatures, whereas Avshadhi is the healing herbs which abate and get rid of worries and difficulties. Swadha iti sarva prani sadharanam anam and Avshadhi iti vyadhi shamarathan beshajam. Fifth, Sri Krishna says, Aham mantraha, I am the mantra. The word mantra is worth understanding. What does mantra mean? It is not just say Ram Ram and the cat will run away. The definition of the word mantra is that on thinking of which a human being is protected. Manane trayate iti mantra. If you repeat any mantra of God, then 3 things are necessary. The first is that the pronunciation of the words of the mantra must be clear and correct. The second is that one should know the meaning of the mantra he is chanting, and this meaning should be running in someone's mind while chanting the mantra. The third is that the mind should be concentrated and fully involved in the chanting of the mantra, and no other thought should enter the mind while chanting this mantra. Only then is the mantra correct. Swami Akhanandji has given a very beautiful explanation of the word mantra, and it is in the scriptures that the words of the mantra stem from the mouth. Matru Dhatu. I showed in the 6th chapter of the Gita how one can perform the chanting of a mantra to make the mind one-pointed. Now I will explain what a mantra is. That's the end of the verse.